They called him the man who vanished into thin air. A mystery that began on a cold November night in 1971, and still hasn't been solved to this day. This is the story of D.B. Cooper, the only man in history to hijack a plane, steal $200,000, and disappear forever. Note, this video is created for educational and documentary purposes only. It does not promote or glorify criminal activity, violence, or illegal behavior. It was Thanksgiving Eve. A man in his mid-40s walked into Portland International Airport. Dark suit, black tie, sunglasses, confident. He looked like a businessman heading home for the holidays. At the ticket counter, he gave his name as Dan Cooper, paid cash for a one-way flight to Seattle, and boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. A short, 30-minute trip that would soon become the most legendary hijacking in American history. Once on board, Cooper sat in seat 18C, ordered a bourbon and soda, and waited until the plane was in the air. Then, he handed a note to the flight attendant. At first, she didn't even read it. She thought he was just another businessman trying to flirt. But when Cooper leaned in and whispered, "Miss, you'd better read that note. I have a bomb," her world stopped. Inside the note was a simple message. He wanted $200,000 in cash, for parachutes, and a fuel truck standing by in Seattle to refuel the plane. If anyone tried anything, he'd detonate the bomb. The pilots quickly contacted air traffic control. The FBI was notified, and by the time the plane reached Seattle, the money was ready. 20,000 $10 bills, each carefully recorded. Cooper allowed all the passengers to leave once his demands were met. Only the crew remained on board. He instructed them to fly south, toward Mexico City, at 10,000 feet, with the rear stairs lowered. Somewhere over the dense forests of Washington state, in the middle of a storm, D.B. Cooper made his move. He put on a parachute, tied the bag of cash to his body, and calmly stepped out the back of the plane, into the freezing night sky. No one saw him jump. No one heard a thing. And just like that, he was gone. When the plane landed, the rear stairs were still down. The wind had ripped through the cabin, but Cooper and the money had vanished. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in history. Hundreds of agents scoured forests, rivers, and mountains, searching for any trace of the man who had just pulled off the impossible. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Not a single clue. No parachute. No body. No money. It was as if D.B. Cooper had never existed. Over the years, theories spread like wildfire. Some said he died in the jump, the wind, the darkness, the freezing temperature. Others believed he survived, started a new life, and was watching the chaos from afar. The mystery only deepened when, in 1980, a young boy camping along the Columbia River found $5,800 buried in the sand. The same serial numbers as Cooper's ransom cash. It was proof that at least part of the money had made it to the ground. But where was the rest? And where was Cooper? Dozens of suspects were investigated. From ex-paratroopers to escaped convicts, even one man who confessed on his deathbed. But every lead went cold. Every story fell apart. The FBI spent 45 years chasing a ghost, until 2016, when they finally closed the case. Officially, unsolved. To this day, no one knows who D.B. Cooper really was. Some say he was a military veteran, skilled in survival and parachuting. Others think he was an airline insider who knew exactly how to escape unnoticed. But one thing remains certain. He pulled off the most daring and mysterious crime in American aviation history, without hurting a single person. A man who walked onto a plane with a briefcase full of fear, and jumped out with a fortune. No fingerprints, no body, no answers. Just a name, D.B. Cooper. They say money disappears fast. Legends last forever. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you love this story.